Hey there, it's me, Martin, again. Just want to talk to you about something that's probably pretty important if you are marketing online or marketing anywhere, doing any kind of a business. You need to know your numbers. And by that, I mean you need to know how many customers you get, how many visits you get, how much money you earn per customer. All of these things you need to know um, in order to be able to market properly and make a profit. If you can't, if you spend more than you make, you'll go out of business. It's just simple as that. So right now we'll deal with online work, but it really will work anywhere you want to put it. But for now, we're going to talk about two different sets of numbers that you need to know. You need to know how many sales you get, leads you get per visitor to your website, and you also need to know what the lifetime value is for a customer. So first off, we'll just start with the leads and sales. I'm going to give you some numbers, and I'm going to give you a quick little calculation that I learned a long time ago that I find very helpful. But before we go into this, I just want to let you know that I'm going to show you the manual way to find these numbers. There are programs out there that you can use to calculate your leads and your sales and per visitor and all of that. And I'm not going to talk about those because there are just so many of them, and everybody kind of has their favorite. If you do sign up to the Big Idea Mastermind plan, then they have a tracker that you can use to track all of your visits to your landing pages and track your conversions and your sales. So you can track visitors, leads, and sales in that software if that's something that you want to do. But for right now, I'm just going to show you the old-fashioned manual way to get this taken care of. So first off, we're going to be talking about leads and visits and what your opt-in ratio is, or your lead ratio. The way to think of that is how many people actually sign up to your list, give you their email address, whatever it is you're trying to capture. How many of those people that visit your website, visit your landing page, give you that information? Just to have something to work with, I'm going to use some made-up numbers here, but you'll get the idea, I think. So let's say right now that your landing page has 125 visitors. So 125 people have seen your landing page. So that is 100% of the people that have seen your landing page. Now, out of that 125 people, 57 have signed up to your list. They've become your leads. So you have 57 out of 125. And if you wanted to find the ratio of what percentage is 57 out of 125, there's really an easy way to go about doing this. I call it the cross multiply and divide method. And I'll put a little write-up for it down in the down under the video in the comments section. But what you do is you basically take 125, which is your 100%, and 57 equals the number you want to know. That's X. If you do the cross multiply and divide, you multiply 57 by 100, becomes 5,700, and then you divide that by your total 125. X would then become 45.6%. So 57 out of 125 is 45.6%. So you would then know, hey, you have an opt-in ratio of 45.6%. Now, if you want to know how many sales you get, then you have to track your sales. So assume here, and these again just made up numbers, out of those 47 leads that you got, you made 12 sales. So then you could just do the exact same number again. I'm sorry, 57. Out of the 57 leads you got, you made 12 sales. That's 57 equals 100, and 12 equals X. So you take your 12, multiply that by the 100, then you divide that by 57, which I did beforehand. If you want to see my notes, here they are. 1200 divided by 57 equals 21.05. So you have a 21.05% sales ratio to your leads, which is really not a bad sales ratio. Some people can do better than that, but that's pretty good. Now, finally, if you want to get the big numbers as far as how many sales you get out of total number of visitors, then you just do the same thing all over again. You take the 125 as your total number, that's 100%, and then you take your 12, which is the number of sales that you've made, and that is X, that's the unknown, that's what we want to find out, and then you do the whole cross, multiply, and divide thing again, which goes from, let's see, where is that? That would be 1200 divided by 125. Now, if you take 1200 and you divide that by 125, that comes to 9.6%. I got it on my calculator on the wall. I didn't write that one down. But trust me, that's what the calculator says at least, 9.6%. Which would basically mean if you had 125 visitors to your landing page, and out of those 125 visitors, you made 12 sales, you have a 9.6% sales rate from your traffic. And these are all numbers that are really important because you need to know how many sales you're getting from how many people you're sending to your site, and that's really the only way you're going to know if you're making enough money from your sales to be worth the what you're spending on traffic. Now, if you're not spending anything on traffic, that's even better. But that brings us to the second set of numbers that you really do need to know if you're going to be doing this. And that is the lifetime value, the lifetime customer value. So what that tells you is how much money each customer on average is worth over the life of your business. And that's actually a pretty simple number to determine. Really, all you need to do is you need to know what your total income is, and you need to know what your total customer base is. So how much money have you made so far, and how many customers have you earned that money from? So just for numbers to work on, I wrote them down again. If you can read my chicken scratches here, we'll start with this. Assume you have a total income of $27,200, and then assume that you have 225 customers that you've earned that $27,200 for. All you really do is you take the $27,200, you divide that by 225, which it's all right there. Divide it by 225, and that comes out to $120.8888, and the calculator carried on the eights. But for our purposes, we'll just say $120.88. So now you can say, on average, your customers have a lifetime value of $120.88, which basically means if you spend less than $120.88 for a customer, theoretically you're in profit. Now, of course, there are other expenses that you have to take into mind, not just the advertising, but that's the basic idea. Knowing these numbers and knowing how to find these numbers can make the difference between being profitable and not. If you don't know how much you earn per customer, and you don't know how much you pay per customer, how will you know if you're getting a good deal or not? I mean, especially if you're buying traffic. If you're buying traffic, you can spend a tiny little bit of money for a lot of traffic, and you can spend a lot of money for traffic. And it really depends on where you go, how good the traffic you're getting is, and all of that. And in order to know whether this is going to work or not, you need to know that traffic that you're getting, how much it's producing in leads and sales, and then you need to know how much those sales are producing so that you can determine whether the money you spend is worth the income that you're receiving. And you'll need to run through this with every different traffic source that you get, because they'll all kind of be different. But honestly, if you stop and you take the average overall view of things, you'll have a much better grasp on your business. Bottom line is an average lifetime value per customer doesn't mean you get $120.88 from every customer. You may get $20 from one customer and $200-300 from another customer. It really depends. But if you look at it on an average, it gives you trends and it gives you long-term numbers that you can use. And those are what help you determine how much you can spend to get a customer. If you know that on average your customers bring in about $120, then you know how much you can spend for each customer. And if you know how many leads you have to get one customer, and you know how many visitors you have to get one lead, then you can tell how much you have to spend on traffic and know beforehand pretty accurately how much you can expect to make from that traffic, and also how much you can afford to pay for it. So you might know beforehand that, hey, if I get a 20% opt-in rate and I have 100 visitors and I get 20 out of those 100 and I get 2 out of those 20 for sales, then I can spend $100 to get those 2. And if I make $120 a piece, then that means I've made $120, $140 in profit. So it lets you know exactly how much you can afford to spend per customer. It lets you know how much you can afford to spend per lead. It lets you know how much you can afford to spend for traffic. And knowing that is what you really need to know to be able to control your business. Because believe me, if you don't treat this like a business, if you don't know your numbers, if you don't know beforehand what you expect to get and how much you can afford to pay, then you can be through thousands of dollars that fast and have nothing to show for it because you had no idea what you were doing to start with. It's very important knowing how to get traffic, but I'll be honest, traffic is easy. You can do a Google search and you can find someone who is willing to sell you traffic. There are hundreds and probably thousands, of places out there that are that will send traffic to whatever website you want to send it. So, of all of this, traffic is easy. Knowing your numbers, knowing how much of that traffic converts, knowing how much you earn per conversion, knowing how much you earn per sale, knowing what a lifetime value of your customers are, that tells you how much you can afford to spend at the front, and know what you're going to get out on the back is going to have some profit involved. This went a little long, and this got a little crazy as far as numbers go, and I'll be honest, I'm not the best with numbers. The way I did it is I figured it all out beforehand with the calculator and the paper and all of that. And so the modern marvels of calculators are wonderful. I wish I had one back when I was in school, or at least wish they let me use them. But just to wrap it up here, you need to know your numbers. Knowing your numbers can make the difference between success and failure sometimes. I'll put everything down in the comment section so that you can see the calculations and how it works and all of that. Just so you know, this is not something that I thought up myself. A business math instructor 20 some odd years ago when I was in school told me this, and finally found something that that my education has turned useful for. Ironic. So, I think I've said everything I need to say. Pay attention to these numbers. Learn them. Find them for your business. Know what they are. Know them when you go out and you start buying advertising. Know how much you expect to make from that advertising. Track your numbers to see if it's turning out what you expect. If you just throw things out there and hope, you'll never know. You could be just one little adjustment away from making a great profit, and if you don't know your numbers, you'll never know what to adjust. So I hope this helps you. I hope you get some use out of it. If you find it useful, you can click the like button. You can subscribe. You can leave comments if you've got comments, or even if there's something you'd like to have me go over. Then go ahead and leave it in the comment section. I always check my comments, and I will get on to it. But thanks for your time, and I hope you have a great day today.